Ooh. Do you want some more Nutria? Yeah. More Nutria, please.
Well, this giant Nutria swamp rat has no idea it's about to become a delicious pulled pork sandwich that we cook in the Instapot. I'm out here at a pond owned by a farmer friend of mine who has a huge problem with Nutria. They're swimming in the water, eating the vegetation, defecating in the water, making low water quality, and they're also digging into the levees. They're making burrows, and when this pond fills up in the winter, it could cause the levee to fail, it will cause flooding and drain the wetland. So we're gonna deal with the Nutria, we're gonna trap them. Now I set up a motion camera in this burrow to see what we're dealing with, and we do have a lot of Nutria going in and out. But we also have other aquatic rodents that are native and protected, like beavers are going in there, and also muskrats. Both beavers and muskrats are fur bearers, they have a season. You have to have a license to trap them. But not Nutria. Because they're a non-native invasive species, there's no season. You can trap them any time of the year. But because we have beaver and muskrat around, I'm gonna use this live catch trap. It's basically a cage with a door that's held open with a lever right here. When the Nutria go inside and step on the pedal, the door will close and you have them in the cage. Now Nutria's favorite food I found is apples. So I'm gonna set up some apples in the trap and see if we can catch the Nutria. Well, this Nutria is very agitated, is chattering its teeth, making a humming noise and growling. If you get too close, it will attack the top of the cage. You don't want to get your fingers anywhere near those big yellow teeth. They're as sharp as beaver's teeth that can cut through trees. That would take your finger off. They have big webbed feet in the back, perfect for swimming with claws on it, and also in the front, big claws. So this animal is designed for living in the wetlands, swimming in the water, and digging dirt. They do so much damage to the levees, digging those holes in there, causing the levees to fail. This is a good animal to remove from the wetland. But I don't want it to go to waste. We're actually gonna cook them up and eat them. I'll show you one of my favorite Nutria recipes. So we'll cook this guy up. So next time you see this Nutria, it's gonna look a little different. Something like this. So here's our Nutria after I butchered it. What we have is the back saddle and the hindquarters. These are the best cuts of meat. Right here is where the tail would be. For being wild game, it's a pretty fatty cut of meat, and that's good for a pulled pork recipe. But this is way too big to fit in the Instapot, so the first step is to cut it into smaller pieces. We'll flip it over and separate the hindquarters. It's good to have a sharp knife. There's a big ham right there, and it's pretty heavy. That's a lot of meat. So here's our smaller cuts, ready for the next step of the recipe. Now I have to admit my wife is a much better cook than I, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
This is actually an awesome pulled pork recipe that we got. I actually was just Googling pulled pork recipes. I was making some pulled pork for my folks and thought, that sounds really good. So this is from the saltymarshmallow.com. And obviously this was for pork, not Nutria, but we thought, hey, let's give it a shot. So we're gonna kind of zoom in here and I'll tell you the spices. You make a spice rub first, and then it actually cooks in the Instant Pot. You rub the spice rub all over the meat, then you sear it in your Instant Pot, add some liquids and let it cook for a long time and then shred it up. So it's a really simple, easy recipe that we are going to give a whirl with this Nutria. Okay, so the spices that we have in here, we started first with brown sugar, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, cumin, and cayenne. And you mix these all together and then rub it all over the meat. Here we have our spice rub, and we're just gonna really rub it in there well. And they have you portion it up so that it's easy to sear in your Instant Pot, because as you know, an Instant Pot doesn't have like a huge searing base. We're gonna season both sides. Just get it all nice and flavored. So we've had our Instant Pot heating up. It has about 2 tablespoons of oil. So we're gonna move over there and sear the meat. All right, and then the liquid component for your Instant Pot, because obviously if you've ever cooked in your Instant Pot, there always has to be at least some liquid. And in this case, it's a super flavorful sauce that turns into your sauce for your pulled pork, or in our case, pulled Nutria. So we have chicken broth, a cup of chicken broth, 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, and then a cup of your favorite type of barbecue sauce. In this case, we often like a spicy barbecue sauce, but in this recipe, because of the spice rub, we've found that a really sweet barbecue sauce is our preference. But again, you can just choose whatever barbecue sauce is your family's favorite. What the recipe says to do is take a little bit of your chicken broth and scrape up some of the yummy bits on the bottom of the pan. So we'll do that next. We're gonna add just a splash here. And you use a wooden spoon and kind of scrape this up. This is good because you really don't want there to be a fond on the bottom of the pan during your pressure cooking, because it can lead to some burning. So you kind of get that off and you rub all the goodness into the chicken broth, and then you add your liquid ingredients, add your meat, and start your pressure cooker. So here is our seared Nutria. We'll just put it in the Instant Pot. Hopefully it all fits. And then we add our liquid ingredients. The initial recipe calls for 40 minutes for this pulled pork recipe. In this case, I think we will bump it up a little bit. I'm gonna press manual and high pressure, and I'm gonna adjust the pressure cook to, I think, about 50 minutes. These are on the bone. We want it to fall off and just be delicious. So we're gonna go for 50 minutes and make sure our seal is closed, and we'll be back when it's done. Our cooking is complete, and now we are going to release the pressure on our Instant Pot, and so that we can open it up and remove the meat, shred it up, and have ourselves a nice pulled Nutria sandwich. So here we go. Whoop, whoop. I like to put some over it because otherwise it gets the cupboard all wet. I wish you all could be here and smell how delicious this smells, but our kitchen smells amazing. It's really tender. You can see here it's pulled off of the bone really well. And so what we're gonna do, shred it up, make sure there's no bones in there, and we'll put it back in the sauce, and then it'll be delicious for a pulled pork sandwich. Our kids smelled this Nutria cooking and they just couldn't wait to taste it. You guys wanna try some?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you wanna try some meat? Ooh. Do you want some more Nutria? Yeah. More Nutria, please. All right, well, we're gonna fix this up, turn it into some yummy dinner, and we just appreciate you all watching.
Subscribe to Mousetrap Monday.